What's going on, everybody? It's August 1st, 2024, day log episode over NQ and the live stream review. So today was a fun day. I had a good time on live stream and everything worked out the way I anticipated it, or at least planned. I didn't have too much clarity going into the session as far as what price was really trying to do, to be completely honest. I really didn't know. The higher time frame suggests lower prices. And this is where running into something like tomorrow with NFP, I just didn't really know what the overall underlying narrative was going to end up playing out like. In hindsight, this is very easy to say, well, from dealing range high to low, turn up to basically optimal trade entry, daily time frame sell side imbalance. We also have a breaker to the left of us here. Extend that to the right. I don't think we tagged it just quite. That was in confluence, and we dropped off lower. All I was anticipating today when I took the trade was a retracement back into this potential bullish order block. I didn't know if we were going to just drop into this today, and then tomorrow we would see what NFP was going to play out like. So I didn't want to be overzealous with the expectations of today. I don't think anybody could have sat here and said that we're going to go this low today. I mean, we had a 600 handle range up yesterday and 600 handles down the other way. And it goes for perspective, especially looking at yesterday. If you're feeling some type of way, like, man, like, I missed the whole day, or, you weren't a part of it. Man, the train comes around every single day, because if you miss this move, guess what? It went 600 handles down the other way. And guess what? The next day, it may not deliver 600 handles, but it's probably going to deliver again. So that's why that always gives me reassurance at times of like, why would I ever fear missing moves? I mean, this thing, it goes up and it goes down all the time. So the fact that we did what we did today and leading into tomorrow, I would elect to believe we may really want to run through this bullish order block in here, because that huge move lower is really showing its hand that it may want to drop into some lower prices in here. I'll put the indicator on, but we have essentially this inefficiency here, these two reclaimed, would be what we've drawn into already, but I think that can be traveled down into, and even the sell side liquidity pool that would be resting down here, I think that may be the target. It is iffy going into tomorrow with NFP and a Friday. So I don't really know, does price want to close out the week lower and make the new low of the week tomorrow? That's some questions that I don't know for certain is going to happen. I also don't know if I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow. I don't know. I'm going to actually see a movie tonight in about 40 minutes or so. I'm seeing Deadpool, was it 3 now? So I don't know if I'm going to be live streaming, because I don't know how late I'm going to be out till. And I'm already done for the week. I got my 2 trades in for the week that I really wanted, and I'm actually ecstatic with it this week. I'm very, very pleased with the performance this week, and there's no reason for me to trade tomorrow. And there's no reason. I mean, I can sit on a live stream with y'all and forecast some things. There's a part of me that feels guilty, if I had to be honest. At times, that's the thing I struggle with a lot, being a mentor and being in this group, is healing FOMC. There was no reason to really be on there, but I was happy to provide as much value as I can. But when I'm personally done trading, it's where I want to call it quits, and I don't want to even be looking at the charts. So I'm content with this week, with the delivery and the education that I think I provided. So if I don't end up live streaming tomorrow, I'm okay with that, and I hope you guys are as well. So just a heads up. I know the whole group doesn't watch these, so I'll have to make an announcement or something, but just a heads up. In confluence, I just was marking this up, the inversion fair value gap there as well that we drew up into. So I was marking up while I was talking. Usually what I do is this open inefficiency underneath, if we even drew to that low, that would be the next draw, would be down here, and then cleaning up the sell side down there. Today overall was just a down day, and that's overall due to the higher time frame, which, if you want a good perspective of what good narrative is, we're in it. You're seeing it. This is good higher time frame narrative. This is some good stuff in here. Even in higher time frame narrative where it's playing out really well, it's not always going to be crystal clear to you. It's not always going to be, like, oh, that, we're going to draw up into here, boom, that's going to be easy sell. At times it may be, especially if we start traveling lower. This is going to be easy stick on a short bias, look for the low here, look for this imbalance to be traded into. That's going to be really easy because we're coming away from that premium. So take notes of what a good narrative on a higher time frame looks like. That's you're kind of in it rather than consolidation or something that's not moving a whole lot. We completely just collapsed lower. It was a huge 4-hour candle to the downside, and we returned up into that premium. We're not looking to fill in that liquidity void, so that's interesting to see. Next draw would be the sell side here. And today, I was looking at the morning session. I was really trying to figure out what price was really trying to do. I was not very certain at the premium that we were sitting at when we were all the way up here. I was very unclear, and I was waiting for the news event driver to play out. Again, I didn't anticipate this huge move of a day today. And it doesn't matter. We have to take the emphasis off of being right or wrong as a trader in terms of analyst. Who cares? I mean, for me, I got all I could really ever want out of it. I didn't catch the whole move. I only caught maybe 10% of this move, and that is enough to pay my bills and more. So you have to keep it in perspective when we talk about right and wrong. And even in days where you get an analysis wrong, it's no big deal, man. It really isn't. You shouldn't put a whole bunch of emphasis on it. As long as you're doing the right work, executing your model, you're doing good risk management, that's all that matters. So this buy side liquidity up here, this was not ran due to ES was making a higher high way above this. It was above this high up here. So I was waiting for the news event driver to play out. And it's one of the best rules that I have that really protects me. And you guys have seen it time and time again play out. And that's the reason why we follow it, because it protects my ass all the time and helps me get into trades that I know I should at least be anticipating. So I was waiting until the 10 o'clock hour, which the 10 o'clock hour happened right here. So at that time, beforehand, we created relative equal lows, which were resting here. And I knew at least for a good certainty that price was at least going to draw to here. I had no idea if it was going to continuously keep expanding, whether we were going to take the sell side, reverse, go back into a higher time frame bullish setup. I didn't know. I knew with higher time frame premise that at least I should be expecting possibly the daily time frame this bullish order block, which once was or could have been here. That was my higher time frame overall draw and premise for the day. But on lower time frames, intraday wise, I was looking at that sell side liquidity as the intraday kind of draw on liquidity. So this is opening range lows down here from the open, created relative equal lows. Price comes up on the news driver event beforehand, draws up into this reclaimed inefficiency up here. So it's drawing up into it. Bodies are never closing outside of it. You have SMT at the highs with ES creating a higher high. You're understanding the higher time frame premise is inside of a daily time frame sell side imbalance. You're utilizing the idea that, well, tomorrow and today we could have a retracement, if anything, and this should be at least a draw. So I started to see it expand lower, and even in here when we got this closure is really where I felt confident. It got underneath this buy side imbalance and it created an inversion. And I had a mistake today, to me, really, that I'm self-critical about, but it's something I could improve upon to take away these higher time frames. Is I should have just set my limit and been okay with the trade. I was just a little unclear on the overall premise of the day. I wasn't extremely confident overall in a overall direction, because sitting at this high of a premium, I didn't really know. And as we started to break down, I could have seen the idea that, well, we may want to run for the relative equal highs up here. If there was if this was happening underneath a low in here, it would have gave me a little bit more confidence to just set the limit and be okay with it. So overall, I was still happy with the trade, but in here, you're taking out buy side liquidity. And this is all just the 2022 model at the end of the day. But you're taking out buy side liquidity there, and you're taking out another buy side liquidity here. So I remember there was SMT at these 1 minute highs and even above these highs up here. So that was a huge premise of today, and looking at that and seeing how ES was really drawing off lower, pulling NQ with it. So I was really paying attention to that, heavily looking at it. So this was the inefficiency I was looking at. And at first I saw it drew up into it. I should have set the limit in there and just did it, because I would have had a little bit better entry and I would have had a better risk to reward overall. I wasn't confident. That's all I can really say. And as soon as I saw it kind of move away from that inefficiency and it created this bearish order block, as soon as it got up into the retracement of the bearish order block, that's where I was entering into, because I said, well, it's showing itself. I might as well, get my entry in here, put my stops originally where it would be. And that was very important today. The reason why I wasn't stopped, I very well easily could have, and that would have been what it was. But I'm sorry, I'm looking at these three candles here. I'm sorry, I'm highlighting it. These three candles create the inefficiency in here. So I'm sorry, I'm actually doing that wrong. My stop loss actually should have been up here. It should have been on this one. I was actually misreading that today. So I got lucky, to be honest with you. I should have had it up here, because you have 1, 2, 3 candles that create the inefficiency. So my stop loss should have been here instead of above that high. And really what it was reacting off of was the breaker. And that would have been, it didn't quite reach up into it. I think just the bare minimum of it. And that was reaching up into the premium relative from that dealing range high down to this low. It's reaching up into that premium. So adjustment, again, this is where I go back and you have to be very critical. Sometimes we glance over our wins and we, hooray, hoo-hoo, but we have to look at it very critically and be like, all right, well, what did I do right? What are some things I can improve upon? Most definitely, I could have adjusted my stop loss here and I could have set the limit. I could have just been okay with it. I think this week with being ahead of NFP was making me hesitant as well with the trade, but I was willing to put the risk on because the relative equal lows were a little bit too clean and everything else in confluence. So I just let my stop loss do the work. It was set there and I wasn't stopped out. Price, I didn't exit the trade, did a good job of that. Even though it closed above this inefficiency, doesn't immediately invalidate it because there's other time frames such as like the 2, the 3, the 4, 5 minute, 2 minute. You're drawing up into this inefficiency here. So those are parent time frames to it. You're drawing up into that 1 minute breaker there. Inversion of fair value gap to the left, drawing up into that. So at times, price may close above an inefficiency, but you have to be very careful and look at things a little bit critically and seeing if it's really trying to change or if it's just having a higher retracement. And again, this was just retracing up into a premium because it didn't retrace into a premium just yet. So it wanted to get up into that premium. Then we sold off. I mean, that's another entry here. It's the same theory that I was utilizing, is it collapses underneath this up close candle, creates a bearish order block, and it utilizes that. So that's the same theory I was utilizing. I was just a bit early on that. So if you ever miss an entry, well, I'm using order blocks as a re-entry or to get into price. So from there, it just really cascaded lower into the sell side, and I was out of the position. I forgot I actually set a manual profit target on my trade of 8, which is good. But if you saw me in the live stream, I was gonna try to see if I could pull one contract off a little bit lower, because I thought we could have got some squeeze out of today, and we really did. I mean, it was way beyond what I thought, way more than I would have even ever anticipated. But the rest of the day, I think maybe a 5-minute time frame would have gave a little bit more clear idea. Honestly, you could have clicked the sell button and just made money. Like it's been like this last, you could have clicked the buy button yesterday, probably made some money. Same with this one. But it was just utilizing these inefficiencies here. 5-minute IOFED utilizes it. Another inefficiency in here, utilizes it, sells off, and so on and so forth. So that was really it. I was very happy with the position. I don't need to catch all that, and I don't feel any type of guilt about not holding on to that. If I did, I mean, if I held on to every single position I ever had, and blah blah blah, I mean, I'd be a millionaire by now. But if I did for shits and giggles, I think it would have been 700 handles or something. 761 handles, 730. I mean, it would have been ridiculous. I mean, it would never happen ever. But it's cool to fantasize, right? So you can see we're already kind of selling off. We'll see if we run for that low before tomorrow, or whatever it is. If I'm not live streaming tomorrow, just be careful. NFP is not really a super advisable day to be trading, especially after the days that we've had and the week that we've had. If you've had a good week or you've had an okay week, I mean, just call it there. I don't see a reason to push inside of NFP. Let it pass. Go into next week, recharge, and take the weekend for yourself. So that's going to be it for tonight's daily log and into tomorrow. Good luck and good trading, everybody. Be safe.